So we're sitting here, it's hard to believe with the weather this year that already we're this far into the season.
Right.
You guys are currently riding your longest win streak of the season, 11 games. That's a pretty long win streak. I'm sure each game you get a little bit more nervous. Can you keep it going? How does it feel to be riding a streak like that and that kind of confidence the team has?
Yeah, I don't even know if the team knows how long it's been. You know, right now we're just in a really good groove and we're just keep trying to play. You know, our aspirations are to get into postseason, so we just say each game we want to come out and try and get a little bit better to keep preparing for that opportunity. So it's a great accomplishment for this group. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, they're very talented and they're very driven. So we're just going to enjoy the moment and hopefully keep it rolling.
Now, you've been here for a long time. You've seen a lot of talented athletes come through this program, a lot of amazing women play for you. What makes this team special?
You know, I think it starts with just how they are off the field. I mean, you go into a classroom and you have a meeting, or we go out to eat, or, you know, you see them at study table and they genuinely care about each other and they're engaged in it. They're not afraid to come up and talk. And so for us, it's just, they're great people off the field. And then you get them on the field and they're just hard-nosed ball players. You know, Morgan Emmons is basically our do-all, say-all, go-all kind of kid, and she's our catcher, and she drives the team. And then you add in a couple other seniors, Kate Kopeck and Brady Yost, that you know, have had phenomenal seasons the last couple years. And so I think the underclassmen are really feeding off of that. So it's just been fun on and off the field.
What have been some highlights of the season so far, whether that be players who really stood out to you or games that you were really impressed by your team's performance? What have been some of the good parts of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a great start to the season in February. I thought we battled really well against Missouri Western, who's top 6 in the region right now. We came out a run short, but I said, hey, if we play like this, you know, good things are going to happen. We went to Florida, put together a 10-2 record. We were really challenged. We played Indy, who's currently top 10 in the country, and I think we got a sense like, hey, we can really do this. And then we came back and we kind of hit a little speed bump going through the Emporia tournament. Again, just they really challenged us. The pitching was great. The hitters were swinging well. So I think for us to come out and win that Washburn game, the last game, I mean, it was a tough 5 games, and then we won that last one, and we got on the bus and we said, hey, let's bring this back, and we started the conference season. So, you know, opened with Duluth. I think we kind of felt like we had a chance to win those games, and we just didn't come up with a timely hit. And we just kind of regrouped. I felt like our team had a lot of fight against Minot. We split the series. And then from there, I think we just are trying to figure out what we need to do. We got to pitch well, got to hit well, and play great defense behind them.
Now, like I mentioned earlier, you guys are having a great season so far, only have 11 losses on the season. You're riding your longest win streak right now. What is the toughest part about coaching college students? Because being a college athlete is really tough. There's a lot, and somebody who isn't a college athlete might not understand all the little nuances that go into what it takes to be a good college athlete. What are some of the challenges as a coach to coach these women while they're also going to school? Yeah,
I mean, a lot of our student athletes are high achieving in the classroom as well too. You know, our team GPA is always above a 3.0. We have multiple academic, All-American, Dean's List type students. So, you know, they're as competitive off the field as they are on the field. And so just really trying to get that balance with trying to do the best we can with the classroom time and communicating with the professors. You know, it's a struggle. And so we just try and stay on top of it. Hey, how you doing today? What do you have this week? What can we do for you? But the Cinco State professors have been awesome to us. You know, our schedule changes, we have to move, and they've done a great job of accommodating our schedule. So a lot of it's just communication, and then the other part is taking our rest when we get our rest, and when we're at the ball field, just, you know, keep our head where our feet are and take it one day at a time, really.
So something that's unique about softball compared to a sport like, say, football or hockey or wrestling is with softball, you're playing sometimes several games in the span of a couple days or over the course of a week. What is some of the things that you have to do as a coach to keep your players' heads in the game and say, okay, I know we've already played 3 games this weekend, or we've got, you know, 4 more coming up later this week. How do you get them prepared to keep going day after day and game after game?
Yeah, I think that really starts in the fall with our focus. You know, we start in September as a team and we get 24 practices, and they're really long practices, you know, 3, maybe 4 hours. We try and max out what we can, you know, just to kind of get that, okay, here's what the start of the grind is going to be. And then we just worked really, really hard with our strength and conditioning. Coach Travis did an awesome job with the team this year. I mean, they were coming out in November and December like, God, we feel strong. And, you know, and you could just tell like that really built confidence with what we did in the weight room. I felt transitioned over to the ball field. So, physically just trying to get ourselves ready. I thought we prepared well for that. We just keep talking about, hey, especially like the Florida trip where you're playing 12 games, play 6 in a row, you have a day off. It's not much of a day off because you're still doing things, and then another 6. So, we just try and prepare our schedule. We set it up to see what it would look like, starting in the fall, and then, just, again, take care of our bodies, get our rest, get our sleep, and focus on whatever we're doing at that time.
So now the next games that you guys are going to be playing are going to be against Upper Iowa, and then you've got Winona after that. Can you preview those matchups a little bit? What do you expect to see out of those teams and out of your team as well?
Yeah, we've been watching Upper Iowa for a while. They were down at Emporia with us as well too, and what I know is they come high energy all the time. I think they're hitters. They've got some pretty dangerous hitters in the middle of their lineup. I think our pitching will do a good job matching up against them. They have some speed, but what they really have is just a solid defense. So it's always tough to play in Fayette, Iowa. It's kind of the only thing on the campus is kind of like the ball field. So you get there and it has a good environment to it. So it should be fun because we're excited to finally play outside. So for us against Upper Iowa is just control what we can control at their home field and play Huskies Softball. And then we head out to Winona to play a top-ranked team. So a busy weekend.
So you mentioned the excitement of getting to play outside, and here in Minnesota, especially this year, winter never seems to end. Is there a challenge to that, to being a team that plays inside a lot, and then either that transition to playing outside or playing against teams who get to play most of their games outside? Is that a challenge as a team like this?
We do talk about that as a coaching staff. Even yesterday we were trying to find a place that maybe on the way down to Fayette we could play outside, but with all the rain yesterday, a lot of the Minnesota fields are soaked, but we spent some time on the phone yesterday just say, hey, does anybody have an outside field for us? So I think it is a challenge, but this team does a really nice job of playing indoors and then going outside, and the game is different at both, but most of these guys have been playing softball since 8-9 years old. That they remember what the dirt is. We can do everything we can outside. It's just getting a different feel to it. So we try not to look at it as it's an obstacle, but certainly there's a little bit difference to it, and hopefully we just play the game.
Now, one last question. What are you most looking forward to towards the end of the season here? I know you mentioned the goal is to get to postseason, but leading up to that point, what are some things that your team needs to do here to get to the peak of their game by postseason? Yeah,
I think it starts in the circle. I think our pitching staff, we've lowered our ERA at 1 whole point. We're limiting our walks. Actually, we're the top team in the conference with limited number of walks. Our strikeouts are high, so I think we just have to continue to do what we do. We have a great pitching staff. A lot of teams only have 2, maybe 3 pitchers, and we have a staff of 6, and they all bring something different to the field, and they've all been timely coming out there. So, and then behind them, we just have to play a really good defense. If you see our defense play, we're fast, we're athletic, they do a really nice job communicating, and we can move some people around, so continuing to use that as an asset. And then on the opposite side, we just need to continue to hit 1 through 9. We've done a really nice job of that the last conference games. Is the top of the lineups doing their thing, the middle of the lineups coming through some big hits, and the bottom of the lineup has actually won probably the last 4 out of 6 games for us, just coming through with some either getting on base or timely hits. So I think if we can continue that, and then just we have a slogan called put your ego aside, and it's all about we instead of I. And so I think that we've really done a nice job with that. And if we can do that and kind of fight through things, I think we'll be in a good spot.
Talk about your role in the success the team has had so far. How have you helped contribute to that?
Sure. So I go out every day and just kind of do the best that I can. I think as an offense, we've been doing a really good job of consistently kind of scoring runs. So when we have runs on the board, it's easier to do my job as a pitcher, and then with that, our defense has been doing an amazing job this year. So it's nice, when they put the ball in play, I have a lot of confidence in the people behind me, so it makes my job a lot easier.
You've taken a large part of the role of the pitcher position this season. You've played a lot of games. You've had a lot of success. Does it get hard to manage that level of play, to keep playing day after day rather than having it spread out a little bit more? You have had some other pitchers who've taken over at certain parts and played some games, but being the kind of leader in that position, what is that like as a player?
Yeah, the season is pretty short and condensed, so it's really quick turnover. But no, I think we've been very prepared for the season. We did a lot of stuff in the fall to kind of prepare our bodies for the amount of games that we play and how close we play them together. So I feel good going, three games a week or whatever it is with how many games we have. Yeah, I feel good.
As a senior, what are some of the ups and downs of those emotions that you ride throughout a season? Obviously managing the fact that this is it for you, but also trying to have that excitement of doing your best every single game, contributing as much as you can. What is that like as a senior to be playing a sport?
I'm just trying to enjoy the moment right now. Like, we're down to about 3-4 weeks left, so I'm just trying to savor every moment. It's been such a good ride. Yeah, I feel lucky that I've had 4 years here, and yeah, just really trying to enjoy it.
What's the biggest goal for you coming into the end of the season here? Obviously, as a team, postseason and postseason success specifically is probably the biggest goal. But specifically for you, is there certain parts of your game you're trying to tweak before the end of the season? Or are you comfortable with where you're at, just trying to ride that out?
There's always like little tweaks I'm trying to make. So if there's a certain spin, it kind of depends on the day. Like someday a certain spin won't be working, and I obviously want to tweak that. But I think just as a whole, as a staff, we kind of just all want to come together and be able to, throw like a complete game. And if you can't throw a complete game, have whoever's next come in and be able to fill that role. So it's just nice to kind of work as a staff.
So what is the hardest part about being a college athlete, between managing your schoolwork, trying to manage a social life, and trying to be the best you can at the sport that you participate in? What would you say is the hardest part of that?
So I think it is like a very busy schedule between athletics and school, especially when you're trying to get really good grades. So freshman year, I was kind of like very overwhelmed. I can remember I was, kind of a crazy little freshman, like stressed out, going from class to practice to lift and all this stuff. But now that I've had kind of 4 years, I feel like I've got a little bit better of a handle on it. Yeah, so it is tough to manage, but I think as you go from freshman to sophomore to junior to senior, it gets a little bit easier to manage each year.
Now, one last question. The next 2 series that you guys have coming up are against Upper Iowa and Winona. Can you preview those a little bit, talk about what you're expecting to see out of them or what you're hoping to do in your game to get wins in those series?
Sure. So they're both going to be pretty good double headers. I know Upper Iowa is kind of sitting middle of the conference. Winona is obviously the top. We're just going to go out there and play Husky softball, do the best we can do to kind of catch as many wins as we can, and just have fun while we're doing it,
We just talked with one of the seniors on the team. You're one of the younger players on the team, but you're playing a very large role and contributing to some of these wins that the team has had. What is that like as a younger player to play such a big role on the team?
I love it, and also it's so cool just seeing the freshmen even coming in. Seeing them come in and just play a huge role on this team, I love it. They're just doing a great job, and that's so awesome to see.
Now, as a young player, I'm sure there's a lot of players who've been here a little bit longer who've probably mentored you throughout the season, helped you during certain times, and taught you a lot. What is it like to have some of those older girls be able to coach you kind of throughout the season?
It's so comforting. Like our seniors, Brady Yost, Morgan Emmons, and Kate Kopeck, they've been great role models. We all definitely look up to them. They have left such a big impact on us and just showed us what good leadership's all about and just showed us what a good teammate is.
Now you guys are having a great season so far. You're riding your longest win streak of the season going into these weekend games here. What's been the best part about this season, and what's it like to have that kind of success?
I think we're just working great as a team. Like, we get on that field and we just have really good energy. We just play as one, and it's just so nice just having this team and just having everyone back you up always, and it's just fun being on that field with everyone.
What are some of the challenges either you faced as a player or overall as a team that you guys have had to try to overcome this year to get some of the success that you've had? Because not all of the wins that you've had have been easy ones. You've had some comeback wins that you've been a part of. Some really tough ones you guys had to grind out. What have been some of those challenges? How do you get over them? Or even just as a college athlete, that's not easy to manage either.
I'd say for sure the schoolwork, like this year especially, we're not here a lot, so we miss a lot of classes. So just making sure we stay up to date on those. Just talking to professors and stuff. I know we all do a very good job just getting our schoolwork done on the road and stuff as much as we can.
Now, the next 2 upcoming teams you have are going to be Upper Iowa and Winona. Obviously, Winona is going to be a really tough matchup. Upper Iowa as well. How do you prepare going into the weekend against these teams? What do you expect to see out of them?
I think if we just keep playing how we're playing, we'll do great. We've been playing great Husky softball. Just keep playing our game. Don't scoop down to anyone's level. Just play us, and we'll do great. Keep our bats hot. Make sure we communicate a lot in the field. Just keep our energy, and we'll do a great job.
One last question. What are you hoping to see in your game coming into this stretch as the season winds down and moves into the postseason? Is there anything you're hoping to change, hoping to improve to get to that postseason and have success?
I just think we all should just keep what we're doing. The whole lineup's hot. There's not one spot in the lineup that's any different. We're all just staying hot.